1 to 2A Guide to Learning. Jim, about what you said, the world of Taisha. I'm not sure I really understand it. But it seems like a lot of spiritual or awakening-type books are teaching something similar, like The Power of Now and books like that. So what makes the world of Taisha different from those teachings about enlightenment or awakening? Also, you mentioned knowing yourself. That's something I've heard in a lot of places too. But honestly, I don't feel like I'm that disconnected from myself. Even if you say I haven't yet found my true world, I don't really feel like there's some other world out there that I need to go searching for. If I can just live my life with joy, work hard, and create something meaningful, isn't that already the perfect world? Taisha, many of the books you mentioned, the ones about spiritual awakening, enlightenment, even religious texts, and also the self-help books, personal development ones, or those about unlocking the mind's power, they're actually no different from the Taisha book. If you could truly, deeply understand even just one of them, you'd already be walking the path of Taisha. But in most cases, even if you've read them, you didn't really get them. You just skimmed the surface. Then, under the influence of your brain's viruses, those rigid habits and that sarcastic inner voice, you said, "This isn't anything new. I already understand this." And so your brain's viruses won. You gave up on digging deeper. It's like 10-Day Conversation by Taisha. It's considered a classic when it comes to studying abroad, but how many people actually understood it deeply? And if you say, "But these books are clearly different, how can they be the same?" I'd simply tell you, the differences are just complications your mind invented. Yes, each book may have a different focus or approach, but the destination is the same. Take The Power of Now. That book teaches a technique to break through the illusion of time. If you were able to fully master just that one method, you wouldn't need any other book. You'd already reached the second step on the path of Taisha. But sadly, very few people truly grasp that book either. Taisha, you say you're satisfied with the world you've found and that you don't feel particularly disconnected from yourself. But honestly, that's just one of your brain's viruses doing what it does best. Are you truly happy? If you were, you wouldn't be plagued by confusion or anxiety. And yet you often are. Meanwhile, your brain's viruses whisper things like, "Everyone's like this. This is just life, get through it." But deep inside, you're not totally content. You're not really happy. A person who's fully satisfied and happy wouldn't keep chasing after more. If you're still searching, still running toward something, then clearly you haven't found what you're looking for. It's just your brain's viruses again, saying things like, "Taisha isn't real. There's no such thing as your world. The only true sign you've found your world is this." You stop searching. You stop chasing. Those who've truly found the world of Taisha understand a simple principle. No need to choose. No need to chase. Once you've arrived there, you'll no longer feel the urge to run after anything. That's the real sign you've understood this book, or any book, and found your true world. But sadly, most people will hold on to the mindset you just described. They'll insist there's no world of Taisha, that they already know themselves. And they'll put this book down, just like they gave up on every book that could have changed their life. Even more people will pass by the Taisha book, and won't even feel drawn to open it. Why? Because when your brain is completely infected by disbelief, you're already spiritually dead. But you're still here, reading the Taisha book. That means your infection isn't too deep yet. You still have hope. You're still searching for yourself. You're still willing to admit that you don't know everything. And that means you still have a chance to return to a clear mind and find your world. Still, even for those who do pick up this book, out of every 100 readers, maybe a third will finish it. And out of them, only one will truly understand it. Jim, only 1 out of 100 will understand this book? That sounds a bit discouraging. Didn't you just say this book was meant to be accessible and even kind of fun? If that's the case, then why do so few people finish it? And only one truly gets it? Even the Guide to 10-Day Conversation by Taisha said 1 in 10 would understand that book. Taisha, reading this book is actually very similar to the experience of those who read 10-Day Conversation by Taisha when preparing to study abroad. Even though that book has become a must-read classic in the study abroad field, out of 10 people, maybe 5 or 6 actually finish it. Perhaps 3 or 4 will genuinely enjoy it. But even now, years later, only 1 out of 10 truly understands it. But honestly, that's already a pretty high ratio. To truly understand a book is not just to comprehend what the author is saying, but to actually change how you approach problems in your life. You've loved many books before, but how many of them truly changed you? If you come across a review on a site like Dubon or Dang Dang, saying something like, "This book isn't just about studying abroad, it's about life and the world. It helped me experience real change in my life," that's the kind of person who truly got it. Breeze Celine's personal note. Dubon is a Chinese website where users can explore and review books, movies, music, and more. It also functions as a social platform for sharing opinions and recommendations. And notice, it's not just about liking or admiring the book, but actually using it to improve how they study, live, and work. That's when the book reveals its real worth. Still, the number of people who reach that level, it really is just 1 in 10. So what about everyone else? What's getting in their way? They're only being blocked by themselves, by their own stubbornness, habits, and the prejudices planted by their brain's viruses. Just think, how many people have read 10-Day Conversation by Taisha multiple times, yet still approach their applications or lives exactly the same as before? They think they've understood it, but in truth, they haven't. Now, why is the resistance even greater when reading the Taisha book? Why do less than half of the readers actually finish it? It's not because it's difficult or complex. It's because, unlike 10-Day Conversation, which occasionally nudges at your mental habits, the Taisha book goes head-to-head with the thought patterns you've used for decades. It hits your brain's viruses where they're most entrenched, which means they'll launch the strongest resistance you've ever faced. Each time you read a new paragraph, the viruses will whisper, "I know this already. That sounds like what I already believe. This part's nonsense. I've read this before." That's when the resistance has begun. Your brain's viruses never want you to truly change. They want you to keep feeding them with thoughts rooted in time and separation forever. So as you're reading this book, they'll keep whispering, "You already get this. There's nothing new here. You're wasting your time." And before even finishing the first 3 chapters, they'll say, "I already know all this," and toss the book aside. It's the same as when someone reads a few chapters of 10-Day Conversation and dismisses it as just another book on studying abroad. Still, even if your brain's viruses tell you not to read this book, even the first 3 chapters contain ideas you've probably never considered before. Those things might just pull you forward. But when the "I already know this" tactic fails, the viruses raise a different flag: doubt and fear. Your brain will start saying things like, "This is all nonsense. There's no such thing as Taisha. No such thing as some complete and infinite self. You're just a weak, ordinary person. That weirdo named Taisha isn't a scientist. He's no master. What does he know about pyramids, aliens, or cosmic realms? Reincarnation, time travel? If it were real, scientists would have proven it by now. He must be a fraud, trying to brainwash you." Your viruses will keep ranting like that nonstop. And no matter what you do, you can't seem to shut them up. Until they finally win, and you return to how you've always been. Taisha. In short, once you find your own Taisha, once you're guided by the wisdom of Taisha, you'll never again listen to the endless loops and chatter from your brain's viruses. You also won't keep using those viruses to create all the mess and conflict in your life. That's exactly why your brain's viruses will throw every trick they've got at you to make you give up on this book. So if out of 100 readers, 30 or 40 actually finish this book, then this book has already won a huge victory in the battle against the brain's viruses. Jim, but if 30 or 40 people actually finish the book, why is it that only one of them truly understands it? That's 10 times lower than with 10-Day Conversation by Taisha. I mean, even with the Bible or the Buddhist sutras, the ratio's better than that, right? Taisha, I promise you, because this book is actually straightforward and easy to grasp, the percentage of people who truly understand it will definitely be hundreds, maybe even thousands of times higher than that of readers of the Bible or Buddhist sutras. Think about it. Those religious scriptures have been around for thousands of years. If even 1 out of every 100,000 people had truly understood them, the world wouldn't still be like this. It's like so many people have read or even memorized the Bible or Buddhist texts, but how many of them truly get it? What's holding them back? The brain's viruses are the most stubborn enemies you'll ever face. After decades of feeding them yourself, they're now everywhere in you. If you think reading the Taisha book a few times, picking up a couple of techniques or principles, is enough to beat your brain's viruses, then I'm sorry to say, you're still under their spell. Your viruses will still create the illusion of "I already understand everything," making you genuinely believe you're virus-free. But the truth is, if your life hasn't been flipped upside down in a clear, unmistakable awakening, a kind of rebirth, then you're still under their control. Still, even with how stubborn the viruses are, there have always been people who break through. Sages and wise ones keep showing up throughout history, right? They're the ones who won the battle against the brain's viruses. Their teachings are still spreading across the world. And at the heart of it, all those books and the Taisha Book are the same. There is no difference. That's why most readers feel this book is a bit too meticulous, repetitive, maybe even wordy. Why does it analyze every thought pattern in such detail and repeat things from so many angles? There's just one reason. It's the only way to truly clean out your brain's viruses. If you think a few deep-sounding quotes are enough to grasp truth and change your life, well, you've probably read plenty of those quotes before. But have you truly lived by even one of them? If what you want are simple truths that make you feel like you've mastered something, then just read the main body of the Taisha Book. But as for the 1 in 100 who truly understands the Taisha Book, they'll gain real creative power from it. And they'll apply that power in their own life because they've cleared their brain's viruses. They'll completely break free from their old, upside-down ways of living. They'll experience a kind of awakening, a rebirth. And they'll finally understand that the path described in this book is totally real. Even if, at first, it felt like reading a piece of fantasy fiction. Once they take the first step onto the path of Taisha, they'll realize it truly exists. This reborn clarity has been described in different ways by countless books, but in the end, they're all the same. There is no difference. Taisha. The person who walks the path of Taisha will see the wisdom of love and creation along the way, and will truly know how to create miracles in every moment of life. They will also have the chance to see how most people treat miracles and magic as mere strange sights. The first step on the path of Taisha will be formally taught starting from Chapter 4, after laying the foundation in the first 3 chapters. However, most readers will be defeated by their own brain viruses before even reaching that chapter, let alone truly understand the book and take the first step on the path of Taisha. Even you, Jim, might think you can easily grasp the true teachings of 10-Day Conversation by Taisha. You might also believe you can easily master any exam, finish any task others find hard, and be a rising star in finance and investing. But I'm not sure if, sometime after the 4th talk, you'll truly take the first step on the path of Taisha. If by the 6th talk you haven't taken that step, you've probably been temporarily defeated by your brain viruses. You might get another chance later, but who knows when that will be. For me, a 1% success rate among readers is already very high. Even if just 1 out of every 100 people takes the first step on the path of Taisha because of this book, that is a huge achievement. Imagine, out of 10,000 readers, 100 people take that step just because of this book. How exciting and inspiring that is. But you can't truly understand the Taisha Book by reading it just once, because you don't really know how to read yet. I suggest readers patiently read through it once, then read 1 chapter per day over a month, repeating 3 to 4 times. That way, you can somewhat reach an entry-level understanding. However, even this isn't real reading. You can't become the 1 in 100 who truly understands the book just by doing this. What real reading actually is will be taught in the final talk. Even if I told you now, you probably wouldn't truly read it that way. Jim, but if I feel like I understand it, how do I know I've really taken the first step you're talking about? I guess many people in the future will think they understand it. Even if it's a true Taisha Book, not just 1 in 100 would admit they really get it, right? Taisha, your brain viruses are already starting to resist. When you say, even if this book really is a Taisha Book, your brain's telling you, there's no such thing as a real Taisha Book in this world. Don't believe this person. They're just messing with you. In the future, there will be endless situations like this, brain resistance after brain resistance. I'll point some of them out to you, but most you'll have to handle yourself. If I pointed out every single one, this book would become unbearably long and tedious. Do you understand? Every time you face this issue, you'll realize just how stubborn your brain viruses are. That's why we will repeatedly explain some concepts from various angles in the future, yet your brain will keep saying, I already get this, why repeat it again? It's like how most readers find 10-Day Conversation by Taisha a bit repetitive. But even with those repeated emphases on important points, only 1 out of 10 truly understands that book. Those who do understand definitely grasp the meaning behind those repeated parts. Compared to 10-Day Conversation by Taisha, a big feature of this book is that if you truly understand it, you will undeniably use its teachings to create and change your way of living. You can't say you understand it, and yet have no change at all from before. A person who truly understands this book undergoes earth-shattering transformation. The rebirth feeling I mentioned earlier is no exaggeration. If you haven't experienced that completely turned-over feeling, then you definitely haven't understood it. A brain without viruses only sees your true self, the self of miracles. If you still can't perform any miracles or create anything, and still see yourself as someone struggling in an uncertain future, then you are definitely still infected by viruses. Note, the miracles I'm talking about are not a metaphor. When the brain viruses are gone, whether you create a new great pyramid, build a great company, or simply find a suitable partner, you won't need any teaching. It will just happen naturally. That's your true nature. Of course, even if a person has taken the first step on the path of Taisha, or even advanced further and learned how to create miracles, their main daily task is still to continue clearing brain viruses. The stubbornness of these brain viruses is beyond imagination. If you relax even a little, they quickly grow back in unnoticed corners. That's why most masters spend most of their time meditating, emptying the mind. Meditation is the most direct exercise for clearing brain viruses. We will teach many more concrete exercises for this later, but don't ever think this is easy. As you go deeper into this book, you will understand why this book, this brain virus clearing guide, has to be written this way. And of course, even if you are temporarily defeated by your brain viruses, it's no big deal. Brain viruses have hindered humanity's self-recognition for thousands of years, so if you get defeated again, don't be sad. You're just one among countless defeated people. Since Taisha and the Taisha Book already stand beyond time, there is no such thing as waiting or not waiting, patience or impatience. You will be defeated by your brain viruses again and again. Put the book down again and again. Then pick it up again and again to restart the battle of clearing brain viruses. No matter how many times you give up, you will come back until you finally master this book and leave the prison of time this book is. At that moment, this book truly becomes your last book. Yet, time does not exist. It is only a tool for your self-experience. Every time you put this book down, you only add meaningless time drifting in this world. So we say this book is your last book, and it's true. Since this book teaches you to transcend time, how could it still be inside time? Time is just a tool for your self-learning and understanding. If this book hasn't become your last book yet, the only reason is that you're not ready to defeat your brain viruses yet. Sooner or later, you will defeat your brain viruses. Therefore, even if you are temporarily defeated by your brain, don't blame yourself. Self-blame is also one of the brain viruses. If you're still blaming yourself, you definitely haven't learned this book yet. A person who truly understands this book will know for sure that they have already taken the path of Taisha. The change is so obvious that no one who has truly started the path will still doubt whether they have really taken it. If by the 6th talk you still haven't experienced this rebirth-like transformation, I will have to explain using my past experiences, though that won't be as effective. So I will do my best to help you take that first step before then. When someone takes the first step on the path of Taisha, they call themselves a teacher of Taisha. They put on the magical Taisha glasses and declare to the world, "I am Taisha." Through this declaration, they begin to find their true identity and move towards their true world. They will work even harder towards the 2nd and even 3rd steps on the Taisha path. Note, when I said magical glasses, you probably thought it was a metaphor. You will actually get a real pair of glasses and magic that goes with them. I will give them to you after the 4th talk. Jim, are there really 2nd and 3rd steps? Are those steps where you learn magic or become like Jesus, Buddha, or other masters? What step are you at now? Taisha. The 2nd step, being the path of creation and wisdom, is explained in detail from Chapter 5. On this path, you will learn how to create everything, whether it's wealth, power, love, or any life experience. However, despite the clear teaching and path, out of 10,000 readers, probably only 1 or 2 will fully take the 2nd step. They are also blocked by themselves or took some detour in the 1st step. Still, even without fully experiencing the creation and wisdom of the 2nd step, at the 1st step of Taisha, creating a harmonious life and some wonderful experiences is totally possible. The 2nd step is also when you gain clear communication with Taisha and fully possess Taisha's wisdom. It is the foundation of all miracles. The 3rd step is the path of miracles. Even 10 or 50 years after this book is published, probably not more than 1 person will have taken the 3rd step from it. However, This book will provide the key to open the door to miracles and point to the clear path towards it. This book's explanation of the first step on the Taisha path and the true power is the most detailed. In fact, from the start of this talk, we've been laying the groundwork for crossing that first step. Although I said only 1 in 100 will understand, it's really not that hard. Tens of millions worldwide can do it. It's actually easier than teaching someone who doesn't like running to run a marathon. Jim, I know you just ran a marathon. Tens of millions worldwide run marathons, and there are that many people now on the first step of Taisha worldwide too. The first step on the Taisha path, guided by Taisha exercises, can be achieved in 2 to 3 months of practice. As long as you don't give up, you will definitely take the first step. But just like a marathon, most people who have never run before hear the word and find it absurd or think it has nothing to do with them. They can actually run a marathon. They're just blocked by themselves. It's like you walking down the street telling everyone you can teach them how to create a great company. Almost no one will listen. As for the second step, creation and wisdom, this book will provide specific guidance, skills, and steps, but won't explain every detail, pitfall, or detour as thoroughly as the first step. If thousands eventually take the first step from this book, they will surely demand more detailed guidance for the second step. Maybe someday I'll publish Taisha Step 2 and beyond. As for the third step of Taisha, we will provide the key to the door and the direction. Whether any reader actually reaches it depends on each person's own effort. However, everyone who reaches the second step will clearly communicate with the inner Taisha and receive meticulous guidance. Taisha will point out the specific path and methods for the third step to each person. As for what you said about magic, those are simply the use of basic thought creation rules. Thought is the only real existence. All magic is just the use of rules powered by thought. The reason you feel you can't do magic now is not because you lack a wand or spells, but because your brain viruses keep telling you. There's no such thing as magic, it's all nonsense. So it's your brain viruses that block your magical ability. You don't even have to reach the second step of Taisha. During the first step's teachings, we'll teach you some simple magic. I will even give you some magical tools to help you use them. You can train yourself to use these magics without fully taking the first step. Of course, your brain viruses probably just told you. How's that possible? That's just storytelling. They'll just trick me with stuff like, if you believe, you can do it, just like the scroll the master turtle left in Kung Fu Panda. All useless stuff. For these words, just pretend you didn't hear them. Your brain has been saying that for decades anyway, so just let it talk. As long as you patiently study until Chapter 3, I guarantee you'll know whether the magic I speak of is real or not. As for what step I have reached on the Taisha path, or what steps historical masters like Jesus and Buddha have reached, I will explain in detail in chapters 4 and 5. Then you'll know. Don't worry, since I promise to answer everything. I definitely won't be like the turtle master who says nothing clearly and then flies away. But I hope you can make it that far without being defeated by your brain. Jim. All right, since you put it so enticingly, I'll temporarily believe there really is magic and miracles, and patiently keep studying. I just hope it's not like those other inspirational or spiritual books that talk nonsense like, if you believe, it works. About the book's name. Is it called the Taisha Book because you're named Taisha? And how did you know I'd be interested in this topic and find me to have this talk? Taisha. I am the teacher of the Taisha Book. I named myself Taisha inspired by the guidance from my own Taisha. It's a matter of sequence. Taisha exists at the end of time, while I am still within time. So naturally, I named myself Taisha, rather than the book being named after me. Whether you are interested in this topic, I certainly don't know. But since I found you to have this talk, there must be a reason. If you want me to say why, I would say that in the 10-day conversation by Taisha, we worked well together, so why bother searching for another suitable partner? Besides, a core teaching of the Taisha Book is choice is self-imprisonment, therefore no need to choose. Since I teach this, I surely act accordingly. When I say, I don't know, while answering your questions, that phrase will be repeatedly guided in the Taisha Book's teachings in the future. Every time your brain viruses tell you, I know this, I have learned that, you should stop and say at that moment, I don't know. This is truly real, and it marks the fundamental difference between cognition guided by Taisha and cognition directed by the brain. Your brain will constantly say to you, I know this, I have learned that, I already know all these things. But your Taisha will continuously help you say, I don't know. When you say, I don't know, At that very moment, your brain viruses are cleared, and in your true Taisha wisdom, you genuinely know. Another way to express "I don't know" is, I do know the reason, but I cannot tell you the reason in time, because once I explain it, the explanation enters time and will inevitably be distorted and invalidated by time. I don't know is another fundamental mantra taught by the Taisha Book. Its function is to break through your brain virus's siege and connect with your inner Taisha. Remember this powerful mantra. In this chapter, please pay special attention. Whenever I start casting certain mantras, I will emphasize that you should use them together with me. These exercises are essential for you before you truly walk into your own world. Jim, I completed 10-Day Conversation by Taisha with you, which included many suggestions for learners of that book. Are there similar learning guides or advice for people studying this book? The core advice for learning this book is to first temporarily put aside all those fixed ideas in your mind. Ideas you think you already know from various sciences, religions, motivational books, and other similar spiritual books. These fixed notions essentially block you from learning anything. Essentially, when I say, I don't know, it is truly real. Although you have read many motivational books, psychology, economics, sociology, and religious classics, do you really think you know anything? It's like you are already some kind of financial expert, but if you meet a stock trader uncle, he would surely tell you, I know this curve, I know that rule. And you should sincerely say to him, you don't know, and neither do I. Remember, only those who truly know will say, I don't know, while those who know nothing are always saying, I know everything. Just like in 10-Day Conversation by Taisha, I encourage every reader to temporarily set aside what they think they already know. Don't read a few lines and rush to say, oh, this is just like XYZ, I already knew this, and toss the book aside. That's how you've missed countless books that could have truly changed your life. If someone reads only the first chapter of 10-Day Conversation and thinks they already know everything, that's a real shame. They've missed a book that had the potential to transform them, and in truth, they knew nothing. Their own mind got in the way. Those who've read 10-Day Conversation know the later chapters are even more powerful, more practical, more moving, and more life-changing. The final chapter brings ultimate transcendence. This book is the same. The deeper you go, the more expansive the world becomes. But we can't introduce those ideas too early due to the reader's foundation. So for every reader, even if you're going to quit, please read at least the first 3 chapters. They're foundational. Reading them individually won't give you the full picture, but after completing all 3, you'll start to understand what this book is truly about. I've tried to make this book feel light and grounded in everyday life, and that's the goal of the first 3 chapters. So readers won't give up just because it feels too abstract or unrelated to their lives. If you find the first 3 chapters challenging, don't push forward just yet. They contain exercises, guidance, and essential concepts. Read and practice them again and again until things click for you. Everyone's pace is different. Some might get it on the first read, some might linger in the early chapters. And that's okay. Another tip, if the main text feels too serious, read the Taisha dialogues first. Then return to the main chapters, and finally do the exercises. The main text presents the ideas, but the dialogues explain them. It's a balance between seriousness and ease. The Taisha workbook is also essential. Only through daily practice will you begin to live the teachings. We offer these suggestions, but you'll get more practical advice in every future dialogue. And don't treat these suggestions as limitations. All limitations come from fear. There's no must, no required path, no punishments. That's just your brain's old pattern speaking. All restrictions come from you. Taisha only offers gentle guidance, never rules. So for now, close the eyes clouded by your mind's fog and open the eyes of your heart. If you think you already know everything, you'll learn nothing at all. One of the core teachings of the Taisha book is to sincerely say in every moment, I don't know. Within that, all truth resides.
Making it much better, something about you feels so special.